not charging you for it.
Oh,
Like, I'm giving you the game.
that's it.
In America, in this country, you live in capitalism. Shout out to my I'm about to go back to Dermont.
Yeah.
To the prison program.
Yeah.
We gonna talk about that at the podcast.
Yeah,
we got a
yeah.
prison program where we're going to prison and teaching stuff. Like, we've been doing it for 3 years.
Yeah.
He been doing it for 3 years, but I've been doing it a long time. Mm-hmm. Google me. I'm just joking. You want me to Google and find it. I promise you. It's working in the trenches. But what I am saying is this. We've been giving you the keys. The tax clients that we have right now, you've been trying to find other ways around the truth. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. And most people do this anyway. You're trying to find other ways that's easier for you around the truth. When you were born into this world, if you live in America, you were born into capitalism.
Yeah. Period. So what does that mean? Meaning, so I had this conversation a couple weeks ago, and the person, they were really, it sounded like they were pushing for socialism, and on its face, socialism sounds good.
They have never been part of a socialist,
They've never lived that shit.
It sounds good.
It sounds good.
But it leads to dictatorship. And that's a whole different level of, before
Like
people make statements, go study.
You really have to listen to that shit, and really dive deep. We've had socialist society.
Yeah, Russia.
Check out the history. Facts. Check out the history. The shit doesn't work. We not programmed like that shit, bro.
Man, I'm not full Democrat and I'm not full Republican.
No,
I'm letting y'all know that extreme ideas lead to destruction.
On both ends of the spectrum, right? So the difference is with capitalism. See, I like capitalism because it holds people accountable
for shit that they say they're gonna do.
Come on, Doc. You want to live $100,000 lifestyle. Okay. You make 40 at your 9 to 5.
But that other 60
come on. But then you fuck off your 6 p.m. to 2 p.m. To 2 a.m. Right? You binge watch Netflix. Huh? You going out to kick it, which is nothing wrong with going out and kicking it.
All right? Josh, let me interject real quick.
Yeah.
For the past 3 years, I don't want
y'all ain't seen me on the social scene, fam.
Tonight we finna have this conversation. We've been working. Little buddy was in here the other day. I don't know his name, but he was in here.
Yeah.
He was like, y'all been doing this podcast for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Now I feel like we just been doing layups. The layup drill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is a layup drill.
Right.
We just working out the kinks. I want to make sure I finger roll the same way.
Finger roll every time.
But now it's time to get the free throws.
Yeah.
And I understand the difference. Mm-hmm. You understand the difference.
Yeah.
But to be dedicated to something for 2 years means that you want to get really good at free throws.
So I can't really remember the actual quote, so I'm going to paraphrase. Bruce Lee said, it's better to have practiced one kick 1,000 times than to just do 1,000 kicks.
That's actually why.
Come on, Doc.
That's actually why this podcast has been.
Man, when you're a specialist,
I want to be great at this shit, bro. Yeah. And I ain't even there yet. You know what I'm saying?
I want y'all to understand. As hard as we work, right? We work hella hard.
I'm a whole assistant principal.
I'm not trying to brag. I'm just letting you know, that's work. Just the 9 to 5.
This is love. This is love. Love.
As hard as we work, in reality, we should be working a lot harder.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, but we were shooting layups. Now it's time to shoot free throws.
This is layups, exactly.
Free throws different. You got to hit from a further distance.
Man, capitalism it applies pressure, right?
To the people. It's accountability.
It's accountability
because the ticker is how much money you make.
Yeah,
that's the. I am not a proponent of only doing stuff to make money. Let me say that.
No.
But in this world, in capitalism, which you were born into, you live here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let y'all know how deep this go. When your mother went to the hospital, just the mere fact of you being born, you were part of the capitalistic process.
It costs for you to come here. It costs for you to be born.
Please.
Like, your parents got a bill.
They paid money before you were born
like,
for you to be here.
For the 9 months before you got here, we had to pay to make sure you were straight.
And if your parents works a job.
And how is that associated with capitalism? The very fact that this is a need. Come on now.
You need to be born.
You need to be born. Like, we need to know that you're okay. Like, we need to know that we're healthy.
Now, let's pause, because you got people down here that's going to say, what about if I had a birth inside of my tub at the house? Do it. But but the fact that you had the birth inside of the tub at your house made you a participant of capitalism.
You had to go to those extremes to escape the system.
But you still part of it because you paid the electric bill.
Yep.
You paid the mortgage.
Yep.
You paid to own the land.
Yep.
You're a participant in capitalism. Even my stick man people out there.
Yep.
You pay to leave capitalism.
Yep.
And then you still participate in it by going around the loopholes. So you still participate in capitalism.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this, Josh, you're not going to escape it unless you move to another country. So if you don't plan on moving,
and where you going?
So let me give you these last two things. I'm gonna say this to my tax clients, as if you were a tax client. The greatest way you can save money in capitalism is by starting a business. I give you some real estate.
Hands down.
Donald Trump, President Obama, the Clintons, we can keep naming them. They all participated in capitalism to its highest levels. They became politicians because they can control the laws, which then control how much money they spend or save in capitalism. I don't know how else to say it. People gonna be upset by this podcast tonight and be upset.
I mean, that's
but
fine.
when you go home and you flip that light switch,
capitalism don't give a fuck about your feelings.
It don't, because it's gonna keep going. Right now, when we leave today, we're gonna get in our cars and we're gonna drive. When we drive and we start burning gas,
Bruh.
As we burning gas, it's capitalism.
It's the 14th. My cell phone bill due in 7 days.
You gotta pay that shit.
I gotta pay that shit, right? Like, if I don't have a cell phone, I don't have a business.
You're not gonna escape it unless you move. And the way you escape it, if you choose not to move, is by simply understanding how this shit works.
Like, it's not even, and then I love when people, talk about capitalism like it's this big evil entity. Like,
it's not.
You only feel like that because you're the one that's being capitalized on. And
then you got people make the argument, if there's no one being capitalized on, then how are we gonna make the money? Look, there's someone born every day, whether you like it or not. Right now, every second someone is born. Every second someone is born into ignorance.
Yeah.
Capitalism is based on people not knowing.
People not knowing.
So I have to teach you what you don't know. So then once I teach you, then I teach you how to think. But we're not gonna go there right now.
Man, you know what's crazy? That remind me just on how we're different and how we're building this firm differently is, like, we're 40 minutes into just a fucking tax lesson, right? This was a whole lesson.
Yeah, we gave you 10 things you're gonna find on Google.
Right? And so I was talking to a client, he started a business with LandCorp, and we got to talking about taxes or whatever. And by the end of the conversation, I had parceled out that he had already had an accountant, like a CPA or whatever, was doing his taxes and, making sure his books was okay, but it was a missing piece.
Man,
she wasn't educating.
But let's pause real quick, because this is what people got to realize about CPAs and tax strategies. CPAs, I ain't gonna say a lot of times. CPAs some of the times come to tax strategists because they don't understand taxes.
Because that's not what they do.
Those are two different. Right? Those are two different lanes. But they're closely, like, it's like when you drive on the highway and you have the white lines in the middle or the yellow line, whatever the lines are.
Yeah.
And you got people driving Sometimes the CPA gonna be far ahead, and sometimes the tax person gonna be right here. But those are two different lanes.
Right.
A CPA won't know everything an enrolled agent is gonna know.
Right.
Just like an enrolled agent is not gonna know everything a CPA gonna know.
Right.
But they both work in tandem. And so when people tell me, my CPA said this, my question is, does your CPA know about taxes?
And you know what? And while we were having the conversation, I'm not one to. I don't believe in tearing other people down.
I want to. I'm asking a question,
So, and that's all.
Yeah.
That's all I was doing. So, side note, I love how my brain thinks. So I figured out that I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for at
You come
least
from education background.
at least 15, 16 years, right? And I use the Socratic method of teaching. So anyway. Total squirrel moment. Anyway, but yeah, so while we were having this conversation, I would just go and ask questions like, well, more so, I would make references. Hey, in the tax season or whatever, your revenue is just going to map on to your 1040. And that income will be on your Schedule C.
Yeah.
Yada, whoop de whoop. Your whoever does your taxes or whatever should know about that. Yada yada whoop de whoop. That's all. That's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Because I'm just a resource, right? I'm an educational resource, right? I'm telling you shit that the average bear doesn't know.
And once you move past that point, that's
That
the
information. And
That's
so,
the worth of it, bro.
like 24 hours later, we had another meeting because I had to give him, I had to have another meeting or whatever. And he told me, he was like, yeah, so I'm done with old girl because I don't like the way she moving. I'm like, well, damn.
Hey, these are real life stories. Like we can't make this up, and we're not here to make it up. But we really want people to understand. Like 5 years, like what I've experienced, Josh, over the past 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
When you're a trailblazer, 5 years from now, you're gonna be talking about 5 years ago.
Right.
Not me, but that's what. And look, I don't mind being that, but please, if you listen to this podcast and you live in America, the two ways that you're going to be able to save money in your taxes until after Biden changes the tax laws, whoever elected, if Trump get elected, he ain't changing them.
Right.
They benefit what ain't the benefit. If Biden get elected, he's going to change them a little bit, but he's not going to change the foundation. Get a business, get you some real estate, and call it a day. This is KD Young.
This is Josh Rucker.
Love you.
Peace.